What's up, guys? We are here to listen to some Genshin character lore. So if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button down there. And if y'all want to go ahead and spread some love to this creator as well, the guy who's making the content right there, Red Flame, go do it, okay? Guy's making some good content. I appreciate him. Thanks for making the video, dude.
Favonius' famous outrider. She's energetic, capable in battle, quick to lend a hand, and always striving to become stronger. She's also Mondstadt's gliding champion, but she does not happen to be quite as good at cooking food. The Outriders are a group of capable people who work to protect Mondstadt and help out its citizens. The founder is Amber's grandfather.
By the way, if you guys want more of this content, let me know in the comments what else you guys want me to do. I'm starting to run low on reaction content, okay?
He joined their ranks in order to repay the debt. Amber and her grandfather had a very strong bond, and she knew that when she grew up, she wanted to be an outrider just like him.
Aww.
However, on one fateful day, Amber's grandfather disappeared without a trace.
Mans went to go get some milk and never came back.
Without any leadership, the outriders left one by one, leaving Amber to be the sole successor. Amber continued to work hard with the hope that she would somehow learn about her grandfather's whereabouts.
She never did.
When she found no leads, she was left quite distraught. She was able to find solace in an old book of fables, which taught her that she needed to find her own courage and forge her own path. When she realized this, she was granted a vision of Pyro. Kaya Alberich's official title
so that's why she was granted Pyro.
Favonius. He is mischievous, yet extremely charismatic, and can often be found at the taverns making small talk. Kaya is the type of person who works towards the end goal, not caring about what measures must be taken to get there. He is very talented in combat.
So he's like cold-hearted and tactical then.
To outsmart his enemies instead. Kaya is not actually originally from Mondstadt. He and his father were spies from Kanria, a region of Teyvat not under rule from the Seven. His father abandoned him in front of the Dawn Winery, telling him he was their nation's last hope.
Shut the fuck up, dude! He got abandoned by Diluc's freaking
Diluc's father. The two young boys were raised like brothers, with Kaya always in support of Diluc's successes. This all changed on the day a monster attacked Master Krepis, forcing him to use the power of a delusion to defeat it. The delusion granted him the power he needed, but in return it left him in incredible pain. Diluc took Krepis' life in order to end his suffering, all while Kaya watched from afar, regretting how he might have been able to save him if he had arrived earlier. Internally, Kaya struggled with where his loyalty laid, with his homeland or the people who actually cared for him. He later decided to come clean to Diluc about being a traitor, leading to an intense duel of fire and ice as Kaya's cryovision materialized. Since then, the two have gone their separate ways.
Hold on. I need to breathe there for a second. Dude, that story gave me chills. I'm sorry. But like that, wow. He literally had to watch him, like his I guess you'd foster parent. Like, wow. That's messed up. And it's fire and ice. Ha, that's cute. No. Fuck. All right, let's talk about Lisa.
Lisa Minchi is the librarian for the Knights of Favonius.
My girl.
The citizens of Mondstadt can clearly see she is qualified for her position, but from the outside, you wouldn't know that she is incredibly lazy. She prefers to delegate work to others, keeping only the job of categorizing and managing books to herself.
She's smart as fuck. Smart girl right there.
The Grand Master wanted to appoint her as captain of the 8th Company. Despite everyone knowing her capability for the role, she turned it down because she didn't want to accept the responsibility.
Shut up. Really?
Lisa was once a student of Sumeru Academia. Located in Teyvat's Dendro region, it is the leading institute of arcane arts and historical records. She found lots of success there, leading her to later be described as their best student in 200 years. After seeing the lengths that some of her fellow students would go to for the sake of research, she eventually came to the conclusion that the pursuit of knowledge is endless and that the sacrifices are not worth it.
So is she like a prodigy then?
After this, that she decided to return to Mondstadt.
Just a lazy prodigy?
One day, during her studies, the thought occurred to her that she might need a vision to best understand the elements, and just like that, her electrovision appeared in her hand. She does not yet know the secrets of the vision, but she teaches others about all kinds of things in hopes that they may one day uncover the truth.
So she has no idea.
Barbara Page is the deaconess of the Church of Favonius, as well as Mondstadt's own idol. She is as bright and optimistic as they come, and although she can be clumsy at times, she pushes past it with a smile. Barbara always wanted to live up to the high expectations set by her older sister, Jean. Barbara, knowing the value of hard work and effort, strived to surpass her sister in something, anything, but was never able to. Because of this, she had many doubts about her own ability. One day, when Barbara had just joined the church, she was caring for a little boy with a strong fever. The boy, who had no family around, was restless. Since he had already taken his medicine, someone suggested Barbara sing a song to put him at ease. Although Barbara had never sung before, she could not abandon a person in need. She sang the only song she knew, a lullaby. When she realized she did not know all of the lyrics, she hummed. She repeated the song until her throat was dry and they both fell asleep. Barbara awoke with the Hydra vision next to her, but she was more concerned with the little boy who had begun to feel better. From then on, she knew she wanted to use the power of song to
that's
heal
cute!
Others. Simon Page, Barbara's father, adventurer, and cardinal of Daybreak for the church, helped her become a healer for the wounded. Alice, Clee's mom, taught Barbara what idols are by showing her a magazine. Her songs did not see immediate success.
She
with the
showed
people
her a
of Mondstadt, as
magazine.
the popular songs of the region were only folk songs sung by bards. However, with time, the City of Freedom began to embrace this new style while still having appreciation for its old culture. Barbara still has doubts if she's doing enough to help people, but the smiles of others encourage her to keep going.
That's kind of cute.
Razor
Okay.
is a boy who lives in Wolvendom.
Oh, it's Wolf Boy.
He has no recollection of his real parents and only remembers life with the wolves. They took him into their lupical, meaning family, and so Razor has a strong relationship with each and every wolf. By living in the wild, he has acquired many practical skills, including a keen sense of smell and knowing applications for wild plants. For a long time, Razor knew he was different from those he lived with, but it did not bother him. One day, Varka, Grand Master of the Knights of Favonius, found Razor. He gave Razor his name and taught him how to use a sword. While reluctant at first, Razor eventually made his way to visit Mondstadt. He learned about human life from Lisa and made a treasured friend in Klee, who he called the Red Bernie Girl.
Hold on. Man's learned about life from Lisa. Lisa. She taught him the best way to live his life right there.
Razor got his electrovision
And
on a stormy
Fire
day
Girl.
when he was ambushed by an Abyss Mage and was to be taken away. The Wolfpack ran to help him, but they were no match for the Abyss Mage. Watching his Lupical get killed in front of his eyes, Razor's fury burst into fearsome lightning. He was able to attain victory, but at the greatest cost. Knowing he still has a long way to go, Razor continues to study.
So his
and become
whole
stronger
pack
so that
got
next time he will not
slaughtered?
fail to protect his friends.
Dude, that's
Fischl is a young teenager who is the
That's
investigator
cool.
for the Adventurers Guild. But before she was Fischl, she was Amy, a little girl who had two very busy adventurers for parents. To pass the time alone, she would often visit the library and get lost in the idea of other universes. On one rare occasion when her parents were home, they asked her about the book she read. She told them about her favorite series, Flowers for Princess Fischl. Her father playfully suggested he call his daughter Fischl from then on, and this made her incredibly happy. Her deep love for fantasy novels distanced her from her peers, but her
so that's
father's
how
words
Fischl's
helped give her
name came into
confidence.
be, huh?
On her 14th birthday, she was once again ridiculed for her quirks, but Fischl knew that her parents would be on her side. However, instead of giving her comfort, her parents
So
simply
is her
asked
name
that she put a
Amy in
television
Honkai as
behind
well?
her. Completely heartbroken, Fischl hid away in the library and cried.
I'm assuming, right?
Suddenly, an Electrovision and the Raven, known as
Osvaldo von Raffner-Weins.
appeared
I
before
love
her.
how he did
Oz
the
is a character
Google
from Flowers
Translate
for
for
Princess
that.
Fischl, but somehow, thanks to Fischl's powers, he materialized into a real consciousness. Fischl soon became the Adventure Guild's investigator due to her parents' recommendation. Now, she continues to assume the identity of
Fischl von Luftschloss Navidort.
who hails from another world called the...
Immer nachtreich.
She was always respected in the guild for her ability to do reconnaissance with Oz, but recently she has been able to make a few new friends in Bennett, the Traveler, and Paimon, who accept her for who she truly is. Bennett of the Adventurers Guild is the leader of Benny's adventure team, but he also happens
Benny's
to be the
adventure
only
team.
member of said adventure team. Typically in the guild, a team is required to have 3 or 4 members, but Catherine granted Bennett special permission out of pity. The other people who would have made up the rest of the team all
Out of
deserted after
pity?
instances of extremely bad luck. None of the incidents were ever Bennett's fault, but they just didn't want to be around him. Bennett's origin remains somewhat of a mystery. A veteran adventurer who was battered by the harsh elements finally reached the end of his journey, only to find a baby. He was confused as to how the baby was able to survive up to this point, but he still accepted the baby as his treasure. The old adventurer died before he could tell his tale, so several single, childless old adventurers from the Mondstadt Guild named the baby Bennett and raised him as their own. As such, Bennett refers to each of these men as Dad, taking care of them as they once did for him. Bennett is not afraid
That's
of
pretty
death
cute,
and
not
has a
gonna
high
lie.
tolerance for pain, making him want to rush into things without thinking. To patch himself up, he gives the bandages that his dads, Barbara, and Catherine give him in his utility pouch. This also makes him feel like everybody is by his side. He received his pyrovision while adventuring, during a time of almost certain despair. As Bennett slowly bled out, he decided if he were to go down, he would at least finish his journey. Except when he did, he found nothing at all. Bennett simply thought to himself that unlike how others might react, he didn't mind his outcome. When he woke up, his wounds were patched with burns, and a pyrovision pulsed in his hand.
Wait, man's
Noel made
hold
an
on,
aggressive-
hold on here. Man's pulled a General Mustang and just freaking apparently his fire just soldered his way through the skin just to heal everything. Bennett.
Favonius, who hopes to one day become an official knight. Although she's not yet able to pass the selection trials, she continuously studies to get there one day.
One day.
Noel is always ready to lend a helping hand to anyone in need, and is often quite excessive about it without realizing it. She will sacrifice herself completely for the sake of others, with one instance leaving her bedridden for 3 days. Out of
What?
concern,
What-
the
what-
Knights of
wait, what
Favonius
instance
fabricates
left her
jobs
bedridden
her
for
to do
3
in order
days?
to keep her out of harm's way. Physically, Noel has incredible strength, although her pacifistic nature means she typically only uses it to help people. In Mondstadt, a rose symbolizes the phrase, "My lips are sealed." Noelle decorates her outfit with many of them made from red cloth. This is a reminder to herself to never share the secrets of the Knights of Favonius. She received her vision the day
Makes
she failed
sense.
the selection test for the 7th time. With an exhausted body, she began to heavily doubt herself. Unexpectedly, at that moment she encountered acting Grandmaster Jean, who was responsible for the selection process. Noelle instantly reacted with a precise knight's salute, but was embarrassed about what Jean might think of her. Jean simply stopped and returned the salute. This recognition of hard work returned her confidence that she would become a knight one day, while also granting her a vision of Geo.
So that's how she got her visions of Geo. Okay.
Sucrose! But where Albedo often researches the creation of life, Sucrose is more concerned with the modification of existing life. As such, she has done extensive work on sweet flowers and synthetics to make them produce more and stay fresher for longer. Sucrose will work tirelessly to find the answer to any question she has, however experimentation often leads to even more questions.
True.
This doesn't bother her in
That's
the
very
slightest,
true.
however, as she prefers the busy nature of research over relaxation. There is one thing that Sucrose is not so adept at though, and that would be social interaction. Unlike with science, trial and error cannot lead to a clear answer when it comes to dealing with others. And because she is too scared to make errors in the process of practicing socializing, she tends to avoid making conversations. Sucrose had a rather normal childhood, and her longest
Sucrose rocking the
lifetime
antisocial
was the
life
story
right
she
there.
read about a wonderful paradise. She and her two best friends promised that they would visit this land, which had tall stacks of pretty pink flowers with fairies and unicorns all around. But as time went by, one friend left on an adventure with her parents and never returned, and the other became distant after they lost their father to an illness. Although Sucrose no longer had these friends by her side, she wanted to honor their past friendship by creating her own paradise using alchemy, which she just discovered through a book she was reading.
She
Perhaps
just
if she
found
was
alchemy in a
successful, her
book?
two best friends would return.
What?
Sucrose received her anima vision on an average day of experimenting with simmering dandelion seeds. However, this time when she looked in the cauldron to see the results, next to the black dandelion seeds lay her vision. But unlike what most would do, she didn't extract the vision and instead opted to experiment with the possible reactions that a vision could have with dandelion seeds. Although this produced nothing, her vision would later aid her in future bioalchemical studies.
So she
Jean
just
Gunhilder
just-
is acting Grandmaster of the
hold on. So Sucrose just saw her little pendant in there, and she's just like, meh, leave it. Let's see what it can do with the sunflower seed. Everyone else would be excited, dude. That's so
She
crazy.
received the title half
Wow.
a year before the traveler visited the city of Mondstadt, when Grandmaster Varka decided to go on a faraway expedition with the elite knights. However, as second in command, she had already been doing a lot of work for the organization. Jean is respected for her reliability and her willingness to do anything to help the people of Mondstadt. This often leaves Jean with a packed schedule, but she doesn't mind. The Gunhilder clan is a famous lineage of knights whose motto is, "For Mondstadt as always." Her mother,
That's their
Friederike
motto.
Gunhilder, instilled the values of strength and protection which Jean lives by. Jean inherited the title of Dandelion Knight, also known as Lion Tooth Knight, at the age of 15.
Dang,
doubted
she
if
got that
would be able
young.
To live up to the title which symbolized the legacy of Vanessa, the founder of the Knights of Favonius and savior of Mondstadt. On that day, she visited the Great Tree at Windrise, which is the last thing Vanessa physically left behind before ascending to a god. The wind around her seemed to blow away all her worries, so now she returns to the tree every time she needs to be reminded to stay strong so she can protect her people. Jean received her anima vision back when she was recently promoted from a squad captain to Master of Knights. By leading the knights to fight off the Abyss Order while simultaneously resisting diplomatic pressure from the Fatui, she proved she was capable of being a defender of Mondstadt.
So that's how
Duluth
she.
Rangner
Wow.
is
Okay.
the owner of the Dawn Winery.
Yeah,
and became a
Duluth.
big
All right, tell me
figure in
Duluth's
Mondstadt's
story.
famous alcohol industry. It is thanks to this position that he is very wealthy and has access to all kinds of information passed through taverns. Diluc was once a knight of Favonius, as per his father's wishes. In fact, he was the youngest to ever be promoted to cavalry captain thanks to his hard work and dedication. He was used to receiving praise for his passion and courage, but his father's encouragement motivated him the most. On one fateful day, Diluc and his father, Krepus Ragnvinder, were attacked by Ursa the Drake, an incredibly strong monster.
Know about
Krepus,
this?
who was rejected from the Knights of Favonius and was never granted a vision by the gods, used an unknown evil power to defeat the monster. He won, but it backfired, leaving Krepus badly wounded. He died in Diluc's arms, and when Diluc returned to the Knights' headquarters, Inspector Erok insisted that the incident be portrayed as an accident to maintain the reputation of the Knights of Favonius. Enraged by this request which trampled on Krepus' faith in the Knights, Diluc resigned and left his vision behind. He now swore to avenge his father's death and find the truth of the power his father owned. He entrusted the winery to his head maid Adeline and set on a journey all across Devat. He discovered that delusions, counterfeit visions that could grant great power but could also backfire, were a creation of the Fatui. Diluc did not understand why his father had such an item. The 11 Fatui harbingers soon caught wind of Diluc's investigation and nearly killed him, but he was saved by someone who was part of a vast underground intelligence network. He decided to join the network and then later returned to Mondstadt. His return went unnoticed, however, as the people of Mondstadt were much more concerned with the appearance of the mysterious Dark Knight hero, a vigilante who protected Mondstadt from the shadows.
Hold on here. Hold on. He said something that like really caught my attention right here. They create so.
Krepus badly wounded. He died in Diluc's arms, and when Diluc he entrusted the winery to his head maid Adeline and set on a journey all across Devat. He discovered that delusions, counterfeit visions that could grant great power but could also
So the monsters created delusions, But why did Diluc's dad have one?
Backfire were creation of the Fatui. Diluc did not understand why his father had such an item. The 11 Fatui Harbingers soon caught wind of Diluc's investigation and nearly killed him.
I would like to know more about that backstory. What's going on with like Diluc and his dad, and like that whole story right there of how his dad acquired that.
But he was saved by someone who's part of a
Maybe that's actually part of the story. I don't know,
intelligence
guys. I still have not
network
fired up
and
the
then
game
later
yet.
returned to Mondstadt.
I will get to that
His
point.
return
Okay,
went unnoticed,
I'm just
however, as the people of Mondstadt
taking
were
it
much
slow.
more concerned with the
Taking it
appearance
slow.
of the mysterious dark
Maybe we'll do that
magic
today.
a vigilante who protected Mondstadt from the shadows. Mona Magistus is an astrologist who learned everything from a teacher only described as an old but highly skilled female astrologist. She was sent by this teacher to go on an important journey to retrieve a confidential box from the daughter of Alice, her teacher's rival and friend. Mona was explicitly warned not to look inside the box. When Mona
course
arrived at
Mona
her
looked in the
destination, Mondstadt, she found the daughter, Klee, but ended up accidentally reading the book that was supposed to be inside the box. Stumbling upon the dark history of her teacher's youth, Mona understood that she could not return and had to stay in Mondstadt instead. Having no income, Mona struggled with living frugally, often cutting costs by eating very minimally. By chance, the author of the All Things Astrological column in the Steambird met Mona and, looking to retire, he recommended her to the editor-in-chief. The Steambird is the mainline newspaper for the Court of Fontaine, the Hydro region of Teyvat. Now that Mona had a monthly income, you would think that she would amass some savings, but she instead chooses to spend her more on cutting-edge astrological technology. However, when approached about being poor, she will pridefully say that living frugally is simply a form of training to access the truth. Mona's astrology utilizes hydromancy,
that's not
through
wrong.
which she can see the reflection of the fates of people that shine in the night sky. She utilizes her power to tell precise fortunes, and when she does not hold back on reporting her findings. She quickly made friends with Albedo, who is also interested in learning about the principles of the world. He often asks why she is so proud of her teacher's reputation, yet she will often complain about that old hag. Mona does not know herself. She originally received her hydrovision from her teacher as a teaching aid, but his power did not develop until the god's blessing granted Mona one of her very own. To the people of Mondstadt, Venti is a mischievous bard who came out of nowhere. He loves to drink alcohol, but isn't always able to because of his childlike appearance. Because of this, he asks people to buy him a drink from the bar if they like his performances, instead of giving him Mora.
That's because he's a god.
2,600
He'll never age, right?
The Archon War and before the rise of the Seven, the city known as Mondstadt was located in what is now known as Storm Terror's lair. It was ruled by Degorabian, the god of storms, who was feared by his people. During this time, Venti was a tiny elemental spirit who had just met a young lyre-playing boy. The boy wished to see birds in flight, which he couldn't due to the gales that surrounded Old Mondstadt. The spirit Venti obtained an eagle feather to show the boy, but in the end, he would never be able to deliver it. A war broke out in Mondstadt as his people revolted against Degorabian, and the boy died in battle fighting for his freedom. It was at this moment which the animal Archon Barbados gained his power. He used his power to take the form of his friend, level the nearby mountains, and declare Mondstadt as the kingless city of freedom. Barbados left for 1,600 years, and was surprised to return to find Mondstadt being ruled by a different tyrant. After hearing the outcry of the slave girl Vanessa, they led a successful rebellion to overthrow the aristocracy. Barbados does not need a vision to harness elemental power, as he has gnosis like the other 7 Archons. But if you look closely, you'll see Venti has a vision, which is just a fake. And because Venti cannot be bothered to carry a lyre with him, whether it be the Holy Lyre
Der Himmel.
or a normal one, he gave his fake vision the ability to turn into the wooden lyre.
Der Frühling.
Klee is a very special child, not only because she is titled the Sparknet within the Knights of Favonius, but because of her strange affection for live explosives. 3 years ago,
she
Klee
does
was
like
entrusted to
watching
the
things
Knights
go
of
boom.
Favonius by her parents, one of which was the famed adventurer Alice, who wrote the popular Teyvat travel guide. Alice is Klee's biggest role model, who passed on to Klee her own playful nature and love for explosives. A long time ago, Alice handmade a doll and gave it to Klee, telling her it would keep her company and protect her.
Wait, so this is
Klee
a
named it
family
Botw,
thing
which has no real
that's
meaning.
passed down?
Since then, the two have been
They
inseparable.
just pass explosives
Klee's
down in the
parents left her
family to
somewhere dangerous and
family.
far away, but until they come back, Klee wants to make her explosives into something her mother would be proud of. Albedo takes care of Klee the most, but all of the knights love her. Jean, however, mostly interacts with Klee when she is sending her to solitary confinement for blowing things up and causing destruction.
It's
Klee never
true.
intends to do bad things. It's just that her curious and playful nature leads her to act before she thinks. She does regret her actions, and she tries to help clean up her messes, but sometimes this can end up leaving things worse than they were before. On the other hand, Klee has used her talents to help protect Mondstadt many times. On one instance, Klee managed to defeat a whole horde of invading hilichurls by herself, but she happened to go a little bit overboard and also blew up part of Stormbearer Mountains. Thus began the legend of the Red Knight who could level all of Stormbearer Mountains. Klee's Pyrovision appeared right after
She
blew up the
leveled
workshop, using the
mountains
first bomb
just
she
to
created all
kill
by
one
herself.
pack. Are you
Diona is the bartender of the Cat's Tail.
Klee.
This rising star of a mixologist uses strange methods to create her cocktails,
Klee.
but that's because she intends to make bad drinks. She hates Mondstadt's wine industry and intends to take it down. but somehow her drinks will turn out delicious without fail. Diona's father is Drath, the best hunter in Springvale and the leader of their huntsmen. To Diona, he's the perfect father.
That
is,
mustache.
unless he is
I
drunk.
appreciate his
To her,
mustache.
he becomes like a wild boar rolling about in the mud. And because she could never blame her father for his terrible drinking habits, it must be the fault of the wine. The first step to Diona's plan was to get a job as a bartender. Margaret, the owner of the Cat's Tail, hired her because she's just too cute. Margaret later gave Diona her signature cocktail shaker that has a cat's tail on it. As for Diona's feline features, that would be the result of her
Kätzlein.
lineage. It is thanks to this blood that Diona and her father are so naturally good at archery, climbing, and more. The origin of Springvale comes from a legend which most do not believe. It states that a spring fairy once saved a mother and her son who had despaired by a well by filling it with healing spring waters. People came to see for themselves and built a settlement which came to be Springvale, although nobody actually found the legendary water. Only a young Diona believed in the fairy, and so at night when her father was sleeping, she would speak to the spring.
Why do I feel like that's like the
Diona
fountain of
had a
youth?
strange
It's
friend
weird.
she could
I don't
spend
know
time with
why.
and talk to.
But like,
On the night of Diona's 7th birthday, the fairy showed up for one final time, stating, "May your cup always run with the sweet wine of celebration. May it always be refreshing as springs of ever-melting snow." Never seeing the fairy again after that, Diona now thinks those memories were childhood dreams, but little does she know that was the origin for her blessing and curse. Diona's father once went on a hunting trip and got caught in a storm that lasted for 3 days. The harsh winter stopped the Knights of Favonius from being able to save him. Not being able to bear the thought of having her father taken away, she used the powers of the cryovision that was just bestowed upon her and her impeccable tracking skills to save her father's life.
that's awesome. Way to go, Diona.
Albedo is the chief alchemist of the Knights of Favonius. He tends to avoid social interactions by constantly working, but he's very kind, especially when it comes to his assistants, Timaeus and Sucrose. Albedo's master was Rena Dotir, a cold and strict woman who raised him and taught him the secrets of alchemy. The alchemy he learned is completely different from that which is studied in the 7 nations of Tevat, because it originated from Conria. It was an underground realm with little plant life, so the alchemy focused on creating life. This art of creation was known as the art of chemia. Under his master, all Albedo had to do was follow her and do as she said. Along the way, he developed a knack for art. Initially, he was just illustrating his notes, but he soon found that the act of creating art was quite enjoyable. One day, deep inside a dungeon, Albedo and his master discovered an artifact known as the Heart of Nibirius. After that, his teacher disappeared, leaving behind a recommendation letter meant for her old friend Alice, her beloved copy of the classic literature Opus Magnum, a note, and the title of
Kreideprinz.
The title was a sort of acknowledgement that she had nothing more to teach Albedo. The note told Albedo to go to Mondstadt, deliver the letter, and complete his final assignment. Show me the truth and meaning of this world.
So a bit
The
of like literally
impossibility of
he's
this
just
goal makes
stationed
Albedo
there
wonder
now,
if he's fated
basically.
to never see his teacher again.
Yeah.
Albedo eventually met Alice, who introduced him to the Knights of Favonius. She also told him that they would be family from then on, and to treat Klee like a real younger sister.
Aw.
When Albedo finally received his Geovision, he barely cared at all. To him, it was just one more thing he would eventually come to understand. After reading all these characters' lores, I can tell you that they are amazing.
Dude, there's
and I really
so many
don't do
more
them justice
character
with my
lores. Y'all need to tell me in the
Definitely go read
comments
up
where the
on my
rest of them
favorite
are.
characters if you get the chance.
But
Please
yeah,
subscribe
definitely
to-
hit that like and subscribe button. Also on his channel as well. Let me just say it one more time. Red Flame over there. You'll see it. Go and spread the love to him. He made a great video. Did a really great job presenting it. I appreciate you guys for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.